check, check, check,
செக் பண்ணிக்கோங்க சார். இது மட்டும்
கொஞ்சம் குறைக்கணும்ல, கெயின் குறைக்கணும்.
செக் பண்ணிக்கோங்க சார். இது மட்டும்
check, check, கெயின் குறைக்கணும். check,
ஃபுல்லாவே
என்ன check, 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 நாய்ஸ் சேர்ந்து வருதுல்ல, check,
சரியா இல்லையா? சரியா இருக்குது.
check, check, check. பேக்ரவுண்ட் நாய்ஸ் அதிகமாகுதுன்றாங்க பசங்க. பேக்ரவுண்ட் நாய்ஸ் அதிகமா இருக்குன்றாங்க. பேக்ரவுண்ட் நாய்ஸ் அதிகமாகுதுன்றாங்க பசங்க. check, 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 check. Is it clear, children, now? Children, can you hear me properly now? Children, can you hear me properly now? Check, 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 check. Is it clear, children, now? Children, can you hear me properly now? Still, is there any noise, children? Can you hear me properly now? Children, can you hear me properly now? Check, 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 check. Is it clear, children, now? Children, can you hear me properly now? Still, is there any noise, children? Can you hear me properly now? Children, can you hear me properly now? பத்மராஜ் வாய்ஸ் ரிப்பீட் ஆகுதுன்னு சொல்றாங்க பசங்க. அந்த எக்கோ கேன்சல் பண்ணிடலாமா? வாய்ஸ் ரிப்பீட் ஆகுதுன்றாங்களோ. செக் 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 செக். Check. Madhav, is it clear, Madhav, now? ஓகேம்மா கிளியர் சொல்கிறாங்க பசங்க. நம்ம போயிடலாம், கிளாஸ் போயிடலாம். நான் அப்புறம் ஈவினிங்காக உங்களுக்கு கால் பண்ணி நம்ம ஒரு ட்ரையல் பார்த்துட்டு கிளியர் பண்ணிடுவோம். ஓகே ஆசீர்வாதனா?
ஓகே சார்.
Hey, friends, கஷ்டப்படாத எழுதுறா. கிளாஸ் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுவோம். Check. Children, we'll start the class. The topic is, today's topic is inflorescence. We're going to talk about the inflorescence, and also we're going to talk about flowers. Can you all hear me now? Is it clear? Can you all able to see me? Can you all hear me, children? Are you able to see me? Are you able to hear me, children? Is my voice clear to you, audible? Okay. Okay. Thank you, children. Thank you, children. So today's topic is inflorescence. Today's topic is about inflorescence. First, let me explain you about inflorescence. What is inflorescence, and then I'll explain you about what are the various types of inflorescence. The first, inflorescence means arrangement of flowers on a floral axis. Arrangement of flowers on a floral axis is called inflorescence. You might have seen different kinds of flowers. Different kinds of flowers, you might have seen that. In that, you can see a single flower in a plant. That is simple flower. Sometimes we can see the cluster of flowers in a floral axis. Sometimes a single flower it will be there. That is called solitary flowers. Solitary means single. Sometimes the flowers are in clusters, but all of them they are arranged in a common axis. Or a stem, it has many flowers. The stem that bears the flower, the stem that bears the flower, the stem that bears the flower, we call it as peduncle. Peduncle. Can you see it? Peduncle. This is the stalk, the stem. This is the stem that has the flower. That is called as peduncle. That is called as peduncle. Are you clear, children? The stem that bears the flower or that holds the flower, it is called as peduncle. The stalk of the flower. So this is the flower. So you can see that this is the flower. This is the peduncle. Can you see that center? The peduncle that holds the flower, or the stem that holds the flower, it is called peduncle. And the flower, it is attaches to the peduncle or attaches to the stem with the help of a stalk. The stalk is called as pedicel. Now can you differentiate what is peduncle and what is pedicel? Peduncle means the stem that holds the flower, that is called peduncle. Pedicel means flower, it is attaches to the stem by a stalk. That stalk is called as pedicel. The stalk is called as pedicel. Are you clear, children? Can you able to differentiate what is peduncle and what is pedicel? Okay. Now we'll move on to the types of inflorescence. So what is this inflorescence? As I mentioned earlier, it is the arrangement of flowers on the floral axis. Cluster of flowers. The types of inflorescence. There are three different types of inflorescence. The racemose type, cymose type, and special types. Okay. Racemose type, cymose, and special types. So first, let us see about the racemose type. Racemose type. Can you all see this flower? Can you all able to see this flower arrangement? Okay. So in this, the younger flowers, it will be at the tip, and the base flowers, it is at the base. Or the main axis. Can you see that this is the main axis? It will end up in a young flower. If a main axis, what is the main axis is called? The peduncle. The peduncle ends up in a flower, in a younger flower. Again, I will repeat. The stem that holds the flower, it is called peduncle. The peduncle end up in a youngest flower or younger flower. That is called as racemose type. The racemose type, you can see that the older flower, it will be at the base, and younger flower, it will be at the tip. Can you see that the older flower, it will be at the base, and younger flower, it will be at the. This racemose, there are different types of racemose type is there. Raceme, spike, catkin, spadix, corin, umbel, and capitulum. These are all the different types of racemose type of inflorescence. These are all different kinds of racemose type of inflorescence. First type we are going to talk about the raceme type. The raceme type, it is this. The pedicel and the peduncle, it will end up in a young flower. The peduncle, this is the peduncle, it is elongated and flowers are pedicellate. So what is the term, why the term is given as pedicellate? Pedicellate means sometimes what will happen, the flowers are attached directly to the stem. But here if you observe the raceme type, the flowers, they have the stalk. The stalk is called as pedicel. Any flower that has the pedicel, any flower that has the pedicel, it is called pedicellate. It is called pedicellate. Any flower that has a pedicel is called pedicellate. It is called pedicellate. Are you all clear, children? Now you know what is raceme type. The raceme type, the peduncle, the main axis, it is elongated and flowers are pedicellate with pedicel. Example radish, mustard, gulmer, neem, all those type. Next is spike type of inflorescence. The spike type of inflorescence also the peduncle is elongated, but flowers are bisexual. What is bisexual? The male and female flowers are separated. And also it is sessile. It is sessile. All stems of flowering plants. All stems of flowering plants are called as peduncle or peduncle. But here if you observe it, in this case, the peduncle is elongated, but what is not there for the flower? This is the flower. What is not there? The pedicel is not there. If the pedicel is not there, what is the pedicel? The stalk in which the flowers are connected to the stem. Stalk in which the flowers are connected to the stem, that is called as pedicel. And the flower is sessile. Why it is called sessile? If it does not contain, if it does not contain the pedicel. Pedicel is absent, then it is called as sessile. The flower with pedicel, it is called pedicellate. It is called pedicellate. The flower without the pedicel, it is called sessile. It is called sessile. Clear up to this, children? Up to this, are you all clear? Are you all clear up to this? Okay. Just 1 minute. 1 minute. Okay. Can you all see me now, children? Okay. See it here. Can you see it here? So I'm holding a flower, right? Okay. So can you see this flower? This is the stem. This part. This is the stem. This part, it is the stem. This is the stem. And you can see the flower. The flower, it is attaches to the stem. Can you all see this? The flower, it is attaches to the stem. Can you see this? The flower is attaches. This is the flower. The flower is attaches to the stem. So this, it is called as the pedicel. This part. This is called as the pedicel. This part is called as pedicel. Whereas this part, the stem part, the stem is there, right? The stem part, whole stem, it is called as peduncle. Peduncle. The flower stalk, the flower, that is called as pedicel. This flower, hibiscus, it is pedicellate because it contains what? Pedicel. The pedicel இருக்கு பாருங்க. The pedicel இருந்ததுன்னா அது பேர் வந்து pedicellate. The pedicel இல்ல அப்படின்னா it is called as sessile. Are you clear, children? Okay. So the peduncle, in the case of spike inflorescence, the peduncle is elongated and the stem வந்து elongated இருக்கும். Flowers are bisexual, that is male and female flowers are separated. There is no peduncle. The peduncle adala irukadu. So it is called as sessile. It is called as sessile. Okay. Next is called catkin inflorescence. The catkin inflorescence பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் என்னன்னா, just assume this is upside down, because in the resin type the older flowers it will be at the base, but why it is upside down like this? It is like this. Instead of like this, it is bent. Why? Because the peduncle is thin, long and weak. Instead of straight, what happened? It has become bent. So why it has become bent like this? So why it has become bent? Instead of like this, it has become bent. Why? Because the peduncle is thin, long and weak. The peduncle is long, thin and weak. The flowers are sessile. So what is sessile? We all know that. Sessile means without pedicel and are unisexual. Unisexual means both male and female sex organs are present in the same flower. ஒரே flowerல androecium இருக்கும், gynoecium இருக்கும். Both androecium and gynoecium are present in the same flower. That is called catkin type of inflorescence. Catkin type of inflorescence. Okay. Next we are going to talk about spadix. The spadix peduncle, the peduncle is thick. The peduncle is thick. It is long and fleshy. See the color of the peduncle here, it is fleshy green in color. But the flowers are small. So whatever you are seeing it here, this is the flowers. These flowers are small. They are all sessile. What is sessile? Without pedicel and unisexual. You can see that male flowers here, male flowers and female flowers here. Another thing about the spadix, the whole inflorescence, it is covered by a boat-shaped structure. The whole inflorescence, it is covered by a boat-shaped structure that is called spathe. It is called spathe. Can you see that? The peduncle is long and fleshy. Flowers are small, sessile, without pedicel, and unisexual. Male and female are separated, and the whole flowers or inflorescence are covered by a boat-shaped structure called spathe. Next is coryn type of inflorescence. That is also, it comes under this coryn type. It is also comes under the racemose type of inflorescence. Coryn. Just observe the pedicel here. Center one, the stalk, right? That is called the peduncle. See the pedicel. The peduncle is short, whereas the pedicel. See observe the pedicel of the baser one. It is long, whereas the younger one it is short. The flowers are arranged at the same level. Can you all see that? All the flowers are arranged at the same level. The arrangement of flowers, you can see that again, the older one it will be at the outer side and younger one it will be at the center. But see the arrangement of the flowers, all of them they are arranged in the same line. This is because of long pedicel. The lower flower, it has the long pedicel, and younger one, the smaller flower, it has the short one. That is the reason why if you observe the cauliflower, it is an inflorescence. That's called coryn type of inflorescence, where it has big flowers, small flowers, all of them arranged in a same level. This is the coryn type of inflorescence. Next is umbel type of inflorescence. The umbel type of inflorescence, in which the floral stalk are more or less equal in length. You can see the floral stalk here. This is the floral stalk. More or less all of them are equal, but they are arranged or arise from the same point. In that region, you can see some bract-like structure that is called involucre. Can you all see that? All, all the floral stalk or all the pedicels start at a particular point, same point, and here there is a whirl of bract that is called as involucre. From that involucre region, all the stalk arises, but all the stalk are at same size, but flowers are more or less equal in length. This type of inflorescence, it is called umbel type of inflorescence. You can see, observe that in the coriander, cuminum seeds, in all those flowers, you can see that all the flowers are arranged in the same length, but pedicel, the floral stalk, it will be same length. Last type, it is called capitulum. The capitulum type, it is also called as head type of inflorescence. Here, the rachis, the base, are receptacle. It will be convex. Can you see that structure here? It is like convex. Convex structure in which all flowers are arranged. All the florets are arranged. Whereas the base of the flower, that is called the receptacle, here it will be more or less, it will be flattened or it will be concave. So you can see that concaveness here. Convex, it will be convex receptacle and flowers are arranged in that. So this type of inflorescence, where you can observe in the case of Helianthus anus, that is called the sunflower. The sunflower, it will be like that. So all the florets, each and every florets are arranged on the receptacle. This is called as head or capitulum type of inflorescence. Next type, we are going to study about the cymose type of inflorescence. Cymose type of inflorescence. Children, do you have any doubt in racemose type of inflorescence? Racemose type of inflorescence, you have a doubt. Do you have any doubt? If you have a doubt, I'll just clarify it and then I'll move on to the next thing. Yes. So what is rachis? Right, that is the doubt by Suparna Lakshmi. Okay, rachis. So rachis, it is again a part of a stem that is usually the rachis. If you observe the grass, the floral stalk of grass, we call it as rachis. The floral stalk, usually the floral stalk, we all call it as the rachis. So you can also see here. So this is the flower stalk. This part is there, right? Can you see this part? This is the rachis. It is also called as thalamus. So இந்த இடத்த என்ன பண்ணுன்னா the flowers எல்லாம் இதுல தான் arrange ஆயிருக்கும். So this part is called rachis or thalamus. Thalamus become flattened, flat இருக்கும் இல்லைன்னா convex இருக்கும். So that is called rachis or nothing but the thalamus, the base of the flower or the base of the stem or the part of the stem where the floral parts are arranged. That is called rachis or thalamus. I hope I have answered your question. The differences between the capitulum and umbel. You can see the diagram itself. The umbel type of inflorescence, all the are equal in length, more or less equal in length, but all of them, it exactly arises from the same point. Can you see it here? All of them arise from the same point. Whereas in the capitulum, the florets are not like that. they have their own point of growth. Our point of attachment is not exactly the same region, but all of them, they are arranged in the receptacle. I hope I have answered your question. Shall we move on to the? If you have no doubt, we'll move on to the next topic. The next topic is about the Simon type of inflorescence. In the racemose type, what will happen here? The peduncle, the main axis, it will end up in a younger flower. Can you all see that? Racemose type, the peduncle end up in a youngest flower, whereas in the cymose type, the peduncle, it will end up in a older flower. It will end up in a older flower. Whereas the buds, the smaller flowers are younger flowers. It will be towards the base. So this type of arrangement where the older flowers, it will be at the top and younger flowers at the base, that is called basipetal succession. Whereas in the racemose, it is called acropetal succession. Racemose, it is called as acropetal succession. Whereas here, this type, here it is known as basipetal succession. The cymose, it is basipetal succession. The older flowers, it will be at the top and younger flowers, it will be at the base. So based on cymose inflorescence, there are three types are there. Uniparous kind or monocacial kind, dicacial I biparous, multiparous kind or polycacial type. These are all the three types of cymose inflorescence. Three types of cymose inflorescence. Okay. Now I'll just explain about the uniparous and then I'll explain you about the dicacial and then multiparous. Okay, children, and then we're going to talk about the special type of inflorescence. First, let me explain about the uniparous kind or monocacial kind. In this, there are two types are there. One is called helicoid kind and scorpioid kind. Here you can see that the peduncle, it will end up in a flower and then it produces lateral one. Even that lateral one, it is also end up in a flower. யூனிபாரஸ் கைம்னா அந்த பெடுங்கல் இருக்கு பாருங்க, அந்த பெண்டுங்கல் வந்து ஒரு ஃப்ளவர்ல முடியும், அதுல இருந்து ஒரு பிரான்ச் வரும், அந்த பிரான்ச்சும் எப்படி முடியும்னா ஒரு ஃப்ளவர்ல முடியும், அந்த பிரான்ச்ல இருந்து இன்னொரு பிரான்ச் வரும், அந்த பிரான்ச்சும் ஃப்ளவர்ல முடியும். So like that type of arrangement where the peduncle end up in a flower and the lateral branch that arises in the peduncle also end up in a flower and the lateral branch that arises from the another branch also end up in a flower. Lateral as well as the succeeding branch, all of them it will end up in a flower. In that the two types are there, helicoid and scorpioid. So first let me explain about helicoid kind. Just observe this and observe this diagram, both diagrams. Here the peduncle end up in a flower, the first flower, and the branch arises. Here in the helicoid kind, the branch arises same side of the peduncle, same side of the peduncle. Whereas here it is alternate type. Alternate. This is the same side helicoid. Alternate on left or right, it is called scorpioid kind. You can see the first flower here, the lateral branch arises, second flower, a succeeding branch, third flower, succeeding branch, fourth flower, fifth flower. You can see the base, the younger flower, the older flower, it will be at the center. This is called the helicoid kind. This type of inflorescence you can see in Atropa, Datura and Heliotropium. And scorpioid kind. The scorpioid kind, the lateral branch arises. This is the peduncle. The lateral branch arises alternate or left, right. So you can see that from here the peduncle side the branch and then the succeeding branch it will be right side. and the fourth branch it will be left side. So left, right, right, like that arrangement it will be there. This type of arrangement you can see it in the bignonia flowers. So this is called scarpoid kind. Next is dicacheal kind. In this type you can see that only one branch is there. Either it is towards or the same side of the peduncle or right and left of the peduncle. Only one branch. Whereas here you can see that there are two branches are there. The center one, the peduncle, it will end up in the first flower. And then from the base of the peduncle, two lateral branches arises. That two lateral branches, it will end up in the second flower. That's why I marked it here 1, 2, 3 like that. Can you see all see that? The first peduncle, the stem axis, it will end up in the first flower. கீழே பேஸ்ல இருந்து பாருங்க செகண்ட் ஒரு branches வருது peduncle branch ஆகுது. The two lateral branches, it will end up in the second flower. And then again the succeeding branch, it is from the base of the peduncle. This is third flower. So like that, this type of arrangement where two lateral branches, the two lateral branches produces further lateral branches. That is called dicacheal or biparous kind. Rende rendu branch irundhuna, if the lateral branch is only two lateral branches, then it is called dicacheal type. Dicacheal type or biparous kind. You can see in the case of bougainvillea, jasmine, teak and mirabilis gelapine, all those flowers is called dicacheal kind. And next is called the multiparous kind or polycacheal kind. Multiparous kind or polycacheal kind. Can you see that? So how many branches are there? Many branches. Can you see that base in the base region? 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that you can increase any branches. But the center one, the peduncle, that is the first flower, and the lateral branches, it produces the second flower. Whereas the third branch and then fourth branch. So like that it keep on producing the flower, but all of them it terminates in a flower. All the branches of the peduncle, it will end up in a flower. So it looks like cluster of flowers. Calotropis, Nerium, Asclepias and Hemilia. These are all the examples of multiparous kind. Multiparous kind. Next is we're going to talk about the special type of inflorescence. The special type of inflorescence, first we're going to talk about cyathium type of inflorescence. Cyathium type of inflorescence. In this type of inflorescence, the bract or the involucre, it forms a cup-shaped structure. That's what I marked this here as cup-shaped. Can you see that? Cup-shaped involucre, it will be there. A cup-shaped involucre is there. In that center of the cup, you can see that only one flower is there. Can you see that? The center. Nodula paranga, only one flower is there. That is the female flower. Whereas the surrounding flowers, the flowers that surrounds the female flower, at the center, female flower is there. That female flowers are surrounded by matured male flowers. So it looks like three layers. The center one, it will be the female flower, only one. The female flowers are surrounded by the male flowers, the matured male flowers. Whereas the peripheral region, the outer region, it has again the male flowers which are immature. Can you understand? நடுவுல இருக்கிற அந்த இன்வலிக்குர்ல நடுவுல இருக்கிற ஃப்ளவர் என்ன ஃப்ளவர்னா ஃபீமேல் ஃப்ளவர். அந்த ஃபீமேல் ஃப்ளவரை சுத்தி என்ன இருக்குன்னா இம்மெச்சூர்டு மேல் ஃப்ளவர்ஸ். அந்த மெச்சூர்டு மேல் ஃப்ளவர்ஸை சுத்தி என்ன இருக்குன்னா இம்மெச்சூர்டு மேல் ஃப்ளவர்ஸ் ஆர் தேர். These are the three layers. So this type of inflorescence you can see it in the case of Euphorbiaceae family. Euphorbia, Pedilacus, and poinsettia. In all these type of inflorescence, we can see the cyathium type of inflorescence. This is a special type of inflorescence which belongs to Euphorbiaceae. Next is verticillaster type of inflorescence, where you can see it in the case of Tulasi and Salvia. In this type of inflorescence, there are cluster of flowers are there. Can you see that? These are all the cluster of flowers. They are sessile. What is sessile? That does not contain pedicel. And also, they either born on dicacheal and end up in monocacheal type, scorpio type. That also it will be scorpio type. So what is scorpio type? We all know that, like right left type. So it will be like, if you observe this flowers of Tulasi and Salvia, there are cluster of flowers, like 3 to 9 flowers, but all of them, they're all dicacheal type. There are 2 branches, it will be there on either side, So the stem, 2 sides, these are 2 branches, and also it will be like cluster, many flowers it will be there, so it looks like it is overcrowding. And flowers also, it is racemose type of inflorescence, racemose manner. The older flower at the base and younger flowers it will be at the stem. It will be at the younger flowers it will be at the base. Whereas the peduncle, the branch, this lateral branch of the peduncle, it will end up in a flower. So like 3 to 9 flowers, it is a dicacheal type of inflorescence ending in monocacheal kind. Start with dicacheal branches but end up in monocacheal. Opposite to opposite, cluster of flowers will be there, like it is overcrowding, arranged in racemose manner. That is called verticillaster type. And third type, it is called hypanthodium type, where you can see it in the case of banyan, people, and ficus species. This is called hypanthodium type of inflorescence. The hypanthodium type of inflorescence, the stalk, the peduncle, it is modified into cup-like structure. Cup-like structure. Where you can see that 3 different types of flowers it will be there inside. One is at the base region, we can see the female flowers. At the base region, female flowers it will be there. In the mouth region, here is the mouth opening. In that region, we can see the male flower. In between that, gay flowers are present. Gay flowers are present. Can you see that? The peduncle is modified into cup-shaped structure. At the base, we can see the female flower, and at the mouth region, we can observe the male flowers. In between the female and male flowers, gay flowers are present. So this type of inflorescence, it is called hypanthodium type of inflorescence. This is about the inflorescence. Next, we are going to talk about the flowers. We're going to talk about the flowers after a break. So we'll go for a break for 5 minutes, and during that time, I want you to bring some flowers and have it with you. If you have hibiscus, that will be good, or if you have some other flowers, that is also good. Have flowers with you, so that when I discuss the flowers, you can also see the flower and understand the structure better. Okay, so all of you, after I'll see you after 5 minutes, and during that time I'll just explain to you about the flowers, so you can have a flower with you. Okay children, just go for the break and come back after 5 minutes. The next topic I will turn today is about flowers. I hope all of you are having a flower with you. First, let me define what is a flower, and then I'll explain about the various structures of the flower. Take flower. The flower, it is the reproductive part of a plant. And also you can see that the pedicel, through the pedicel, it is attaches to the stem. So this part, the whole flower, it is known as a modified shoot system. Here, the whole growth of the flower or whole growth of the shoot is restricted or limited growth we can observe in the case of flowers. And I've asked you to have a flower with you, right? So are you all having the same flower what I'm having it now? Are you all having the same flower what I'm having it now? I don't think so. You have different flowers of different size, different color, different structure, different patterns. But if you observe the flower, all the flowers, it has same parts. It depends on what type of flower you are having in your hand. If you're going to have the male flower, the male part it will be the female flower, or if you're going to have the unisexual flower or bisexual flowers. Here I'm having a flower. This is called the hibiscus rosa sinensis. This is called as a complete flower. Why it is called a complete flower? Because this flower, it has all the four parts in it. So what are the four parts? Calyx, androecium, gynoecium, or it is also called as androecium is called as stamen and gynoecium it is called as pistils. Sepals, petals, stamens and pistil. Calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. So these parts, if you observe here, this is a typical structure of a flower. This is the base that is called as receptacle or thalamus. And you can see that what is present in the center, this part, this is called as the female reproductive part. That is called the stigma, the structure that is called style, and the base that is called as the ovary. Inside the ovary, ovules are the one that will become the seed, and ovary is the one that becomes the fruit. That's the reason why it is attached to the center of the receptacle or thalamus. You can see that stigma, style, ovary, within that ovules are there. And this thing, what you're seeing here, this is called as the filament and anther. You can see that the white thing is called filament and anther. So this is called stamen. So this part, this is the male reproductive part, whereas this part, the stigma, style, ovary and ovules, all of them are the female reproductive part. And then the colored part, what we are seeing it here, that is called as the calyx, that is called as corolla. That's called corolla. And this part, this is called as the calyx, the green color part, what we are seeing it here, this is called as the calyx. So these are the four parts are there: calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. In that, calyx and corolla are known as non-essential part. So why they are called as non-essential part? Because they are not directly involved in the process of reproduction, whereas the androecium and gynoecium, they are directly involved in the process of reproduction. The calyx and corolla, it is not directly involved in the process of reproductions. So now we are going to talk about the types of flowers based on sex. Types of flowers based on sex. First we are going to talk about a complete or bisexual flower. If you observe this flower, It has both the androecium and gynoecium. The center one, this is called as the gynoecium. On the side, two things, the yellow color thing, what we are seeing there, that is called androecium. So gynoecium, what is gynoecium? The female reproductive part. Androecium, the male reproductive part. If both androecium and gynoecium, if it is present in the same flower, that flower is called a complete or bisexual flower. It is also called as a perfect flower. Flower has both androecium and gynoecium in it. That is called a complete or bisexual flower. The next flower, it is called imperfect or unisexual flowers. That means the flower, it has either androecium or gynoecium. Either androecium or gynoecium. Either male reproductive part or female reproductive part. That is called as imperfect or unisexual flowers. If the flower, it has only the male reproductive part, that is the androecium. The flower, it has only the male reproductive part, the androecium, that is called the staminate flowers. Androecium mattu irundhuduna, that is called staminate. Flower, it has only gynoecium, then it is called pistillate flower. Pistillate flower. Pistillate. The other type is called polygamous type of flowers are there. The polygamous type, both unisexual and bisexuals are flowers are present in the same plant. ஒரே plant பாத்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு இடத்துல எப்படி இருக்குன்னா bisexual flowers இருக்கும், which contains both androecium and gynoecium. And some region it has only the male flowers, that is called the staminate flowers. And some region it has the pistillate flowers, which contains the gynoecium. So such type of flowers that are present in the same plant, that is called as polygamous type of flowers. So bisexual, unisexual, polygamous. Here types of polygamous. Types of polygamous. So here you can see that monoecious, hermaphrodite, dioecious, gynodioecious, androdioecious, andromonoecious, trimonoecious, gynomonoecious. These are all different types are there. I'll just explain what is that and then I'll show the picture to you. Andromonoecious. Andro. What is andro? Here refers to the androecium. Andro. So you can see the andromonoecious. So you can see that this is the flower, the male flowers. So staminate flowers. What is staminate flowers? Staminate is that which contains the androecium. In the andromonoecious la pathina, androecium mattu irukla flowers plus bisexual flowers are there. So this you can see that andromonoecious, this is the bisexual flower and this is androecium. This is androecium. Gynomonoecious, that means pistillate flower which contains the gynoecium and bisexual flowers. Polygamomonoecious. In this type you can see that all the three type of flowers it will be there. Pistillate flowers, staminate flowers and bisexual flowers. Androdioecious. Androdioecious, you can see that is the androdioecious. In one part, staminate flowers. So two different plants, the staminate flowers are there in one individual and bisexual flowers on another individual. If both staminate flowers and bisexual flowers are present in same plant, it's called andromonoecious. Androdioecious, staminate flowers are present in one individual, bisexual flowers are present in another individuals. Gynodioecious, that means again the pistillate flowers in one individual, bisexual flowers in another individual. That's called dioecious. Polygamodioecious, staminate flowers and bisexual flowers in one individual, staminate flowers and bisexual flowers in one individual, pistillate flowers and bisexual flowers in another individuals. This is about type of polygamous. Now I want you to make note of this. Just make a note, write it in your note, and if you have doubt in this type of polygamous, I will explain to you. I'll give you 5 minutes time. Just copy this slide. Children, I hope you could have finished this. Do you have any doubt in this? Do you have any doubt in this, children? Are you clear with this? Are you clear? Shall we move on to the next topic? So the individual is nothing but a different plant. A different plant. So involucre in the sense the bract, the modified bract, we call it as involucre. The lower part of the pedicel that is modified, that is called as involucre. Okay, so we'll move on to the next topic. Okay, the next topic is about the symmetry. So what is symmetry? Arrangement of floral parts. Arrangement of floral parts, we call it as symmetry. In that we'll use three types of symmetry in the case of flowers. One is called actinomorphic, that is called radially symmetry. If you cut the flowers radially, it should give two equal off. That's called radial symmetry. So you can see that mustard, datura and chili. You can cut them radially, it will divide into two equal off. Zygomorphic, that's called bilateral symmetry. If you cut them bilaterally at the center alone, bilaterally, if you cut them, it will divide into two equal off. That is called zygomorphic. Actinomorphic means radially symmetrical, bilaterally symmetrical, zygomorphic. And asymmetrical, if you cut them at any plane, it will not divide into two equal off. Any plane if you cut it. Because some of the flowers are twisted. You cannot even cut them at equal off. Such type of flowers are called as amorphic or asymmetrical flowers. Then we are going to talk about the calyx. The poly, you asked a doubt about polymonodioecious. So what is that polymonodioecious? You can see it here. Polygamodioecious, right? So polymonodioecious. You can see the flowers here. Andromonaceous. This is andromonaceous. Your doubt is about polymonodioecious. Polymodioecious. Poly means many. That means staminate, pistillate and bisexual. All the three it will present in the same plant. All the three it will present in the same plant. So that is called polymodioecious. You can see that. So here one individual plant, it has the staminate flower and bisexual. The other one, it has pistillate flowers and bisexuals. So that means if you take a plant, the plant contains all the three, it will be there. Separately, if you observe a plant, one plant is having a flower and also it has bisexual flowers. Staminate flowers and bisexual flowers. What is staminate flowers? Androecium. What is bisexual? Androecium and gynoecium. So all the sexes are there. The other individual pistillate flower that contains only gynoecium and then bisexuals. Both androecium and gynoecium is there. Next is calyx. So all of you take the flower what you're having in your hand. All of you take the flower what is having in your hand. Just observe this part. Observe this part in your flower. If you have hibiscus, the lower part which is to be green in color, right? Which will be green in color. The green color part, what you are seeing it here. The green color part, what we are seeing it here. That green color part, what we are seeing it here, this part, it is called as the calyx. So if you are hibiscus, you have two parts like this. This is it is small thing what you are seeing it here. This is called as apicalyx. This is calyx. So what is the function of the calyx? As I mentioned earlier, there are four whorls. Whorls means layers. Are four parts of the flowers are there. Calyx are sepals, corolla are petals, androecium are stamens, gynoecium are pistils. These are the four parts: calyx, corolla, androecium, and gynoecium. In that, the calyx, this is the outermost whorl of the flower. The outermost whorl of the flower. What is the color of the calyx? The color of the calyx, this is the calyx. So the color of the calyx is green in color. That means it contains what? Chlorophyll. If any part of the plant that contains chlorophyll, it does the process called photosynthesis. So the calyx or sepals, it carry out the photosynthesis process. It carry out the photosynthesis process. And another important thing, if you observe what I am having in my hand, this is the, again, this part, what you are seeing is the calyx, right? This is the calyx. And I am having a bud in my hand. Can you see that bud? So inside the bud, if I open the bud, inside you can see the flower parts. So you can see that I have opened the calyx now. You can see that. What is there inside? You can see that corolla is there. So the whole flower, the whole floral part are protected by the calyx. At the bud condition, the whole floral parts, the calyx, the corolla, androecium and gynoecium are well protected by the calyx. So that is the two functions of the calyx. One is it protects the whorls of the flower. Second thing, it is green in color. It does the process called photosynthesis. And if you have hibiscus in your hand, just observe the hibiscus here. Here the calyx is united. Can you see that? It has the 5 calyx. All the calyx are united. Can you see it, children? This is the calyx. The calyx are united. This part. This is the calyx. All of them are united. When calyx are united, it is called gamosepalous. So it will be like this. You observe that flower hibiscus, it will be like this. This is called gamosepalous. Gamo means united. Aposepalous. They have a distinct sepals. Separate. Can you see that? Distinct. It will be there. This is called as aposepalous. Distinct sepals it will be. Braccacia, Anano. All these flowers, they'll have the calyx is separated. They are not united. If they are separated, it is called aposepalous. If they are united, it is called syncephalous. Syncephalous means united. Or syncephalous is also known as gamocephalous. And here it is also called as polycephalous. Apocephalous is called polycephalous. Poly means many. Shape of the calyx. We will talk about the shape of the calyx. Can you able to see me, children? Can you able to see me and follow the class? Can you able to see me? Can you hear me properly? Can you able to see me and hear me, children? Okay, good. So it's shape of the calyx. You can see that some of the shape, some of the flowers, they have the calyx, which is like a bell shaped. This bell shaped calyx are known as campanulate. Campanulate, that means bell shaped. Urcolate. Urcolate means urn shaped. It will be like this, urn shaped. Tubular, like a tube. Can you see this? This is a tubular shaped. This is called tubular. Pappus, tiny hair like, it will be there. Hair like structure. Tiny hair like structure. It's called pappus. Petaloid. Petaloid means both the petals and sepals, it will be in same color. Can you see that? Believe this? This is the calyx and this is corolla. If the calyx and corolla are not differentiated, it is called petaloid. Calyx and corolla are not differentiated, it is called petaloid. Campanulate means bell shaped. Urculate means urn shaped. Tubular like structure. Tiny hair like structure, it is called pappus. Next we are going to talk about the colored part of the flower. If you have flower in your hand, you can see that it will be different colors. Some of you have blue color, white color flowers, red color flowers, yellow color flowers, orange color, different colors it will be there. That part what we are seeing it here, this colored part, the colored part what we are seeing it here, this colored part what we are seeing it here, all these colored part what we are seeing it here, right, this part, that part it is known as corolla. That is known as corolla or petals. What is the function of that? What do you observe in this picture, children? In this picture you can see that the insects are attending the flower. So why they have to attend the flower? Because the insects, they used to collect the nectar from the flowers. What is nectar? A sugary substance produced by the flower, that is called nectar. When they collect that nectar, during that time it sucks the nectar from the flower, and same time this part what we are seeing it here, can you see this part? If you have hibiscus, you can identify that this part here, this one, this yellow color thing what we are seeing it here, that is called the pollen grains. This which contains the male gamete, it attaches to the body of the insect, and that pollen it will be transferred to the next flower, that is called pollination. So all the corolla or petals, they are brightly colored. They are brightly colored to attract the insects towards pollination. They are brightly colored to attract the insects towards pollination. That is the function of corolla. And again the same thing, corolla, apopetalous. Apopetalous means polypetalous. Polypetalous means, poly means many. Many petals there are separated. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But separated. Whereas here sympatalous, all the petals are fused, are united. That's called gamopetalis or sympetalis. In the hibiscus flower, what I am having it in my hand, you can observe here, I can easily separate the calyx, the corolla. I can easily separate the corolla. Let me separate and show it to you. You can easily take them out. One, can you see this? One, they're all not united, they're all separated, distinct. So apopetalis. One, second one, third, four, and five. So all the calyx are separated already. You can see the corollas here. The five corollas are there. All of them are separated. They are not united. That's why it is called apopetalis. Apopetalis. Next is the shape of the corolla. Infundibly formed. Infundibly formed. That is called funnel shaped. Like a funnel it will be there. Papilionaceous, butterfly, cambrylate with bell shaped, and bilabiate, two lips it will be there. One is here, this is the one lip, the second lip, called bilabiate. Rotate, that is wheel shaped, like or star shaped. Tubular, like a tube. Cruciform, like a cross. And ligulate, that's called strap shaped limb, like a strap it will be there. These are all different shapes it will be there. Estivation, that is arrangement of sepals or petals in a floral bud. That is called estivation. This is a very important topic in examination point of view. Estivation, the mode of arrangement of sepals or petals in a floral bud, that is called as estivation. There are five different types of estivation. Valvate, twisted, imbricate, quincuncial, vexillary. These are all five different types of estivation is there. Five different types of estivation. And the different colors are there. Different colors of the flower, mainly it is because of what kind of pigment they have. Some they have, apart from chlorophyll A, they have chlorophyll B, chlorophyll C, chlorophyll D, and also phycocyanthin and cyanthin. These are all different types of colors are there. Pigments. When you studied about the photosynthesis, you studied about the chlorophyll, which is a coloring pigment which gives green color. Similarly, the phycoerythrin, phycocyanin, xanthophylls, zeaxanthin, these are all different types of colors are there. Coloring pigments are there. Those coloring pigments only gives different kinds of colors of pigments here. So these different colors are mainly because of different types of pigments present there. The estivation, five different types of estivation. First, let us see about valvate estivation. This type of valvate distillation, we can mostly see it in the flowers which are separated, where the calyx and corolla are separated. Can you see that? Here, sepals and petals. The sepals and petals, they don't, the world just touch one another, but they are separated. They do not overlap. They will be separated. That type of estivation, it is called as valvate estivation. Valvate. So you can see that flowers, they are not touching each other. Sepals and petals are separated. That is called valvate type of estivation. Twisted type. We'll start from here. The one margin, the appendage, it overlaps with the other margin, the next appendage. So here one is outside, the other one is inside. Here one is outside, other one is inside. The one side of the petal, it is outside, and it is another one is inside. So it twisted, and even the twisting you can observe that is in same direction. All of them arranged in the same direction. That is called twisted estivation, twisted type of estivation. We can observe in the case of lady's finger, China rose, and cotton. That is called twisted type of estivation. This is called imbricate type of estivation. Imbricate. Here also the margin of sepals overlap one another but not in a particular direction. Here all of them, they are arranged in a particular direction. Can you see it here? All of them arranged in a particular direction, whereas here they are not arranged in a particular direction. So one is totally inside, one is others. You can see that others are twisted, whereas only one type, hot petal, this is called hot petal, it is inside. It is inside. Whereas the other four are follow the twisted pattern. Whereas one alone, it will be completely inside. So this type, it is called imbricate estivation. The next type, it is called the vexillary type of estivation. The vexillary type of estivation, the 5 petals it will be there. All the 5 petals are categorized into 3 types. One is called a large petal. You can see that large petal, it is called standard petal. This standard petal, it overlaps the side, lateral or wing petal. This is the wing petal. This is the wing petal. This is the standard petal or largest petal. It overlaps the wing petal, and the small here, the 2 petals which are united, they are called as the keel petal. Keel petal. Keel petal. These are all the 5 petals. One large petal, 2 wings petal, and 2 keel petals. This is vexillary type of estivations. Next we are going to talk about androecium. Androecium. I want to teach you androecium and types of androecium, all these things in next class. All these gynoecium, placentation, all these things I'm going to teach you next class. I'll tell you, probably we'll have 2 classes this week. One, it will be like probably on Monday we'll have a class, and Thursday we'll have a class. So now I want you to copy this slide. Copy this slide, and after that you can just copy this slide. And the next topic, that is androecium and gynoecium. That is the essential part. And after completing the androecium and gynoecium, we're going to talk about the types of ovaries, and then we are going to talk about the forms, and then we're going to talk about some practical parts, so practical sessions. All these things we're going to talk about in the next class. And I want you to write this slide now. Just write this slide. Just copy this slide, and after that you can leave. So thank you children, thank you for watching the class. We'll see you on Monday. I'll inform the timing to you when we'll have the class. Okay children, thank you. Do well, study this topic. If you have doubt, you can post your doubt in the WhatsApp. No need to call me, and I will call you and clear your doubts. And you can have Deepak alone. You can after the class you can have a discuss with me, and after the class please do call me. I'll talk to you. Then we'll discuss about the further classes, portions what you have not attended, how to manage that, all those things I'll just tell you. Now, as of now, just write this slide, and after that give me a call. So children, once you have completed writing the slide, just send a message there so that I can end up the class. Thank you children. Thank you very much.